I'm Jordan Hatfield. This is Faster Film Critic. Today on the show, we talk one battle after another with Kolter, Chase Fugel, and Blake Lazinski. One Battle After Another is a 2025 action drama directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, and Benicio del Toro. All ears, keep your eyes on the foxy lady. Grid to Brewside, his kitchen near the coffee creamer. Target package. Rick Dalton follows the brown streaks on Kolter's BVDs to victory. No joy in 5 mics. We exit to PDF. Get in. We're going cinephiling. Guys, it's so good to be talking one battle after another. How you doing?
Good.
Doing great.
Yeah.
Good. Blake, I'm glad you're with us, man.
Yeah.
Guys, I am very excited for this conversation.
Me too. Let's dive right in. What do we think of One Battle After Another?
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, look, you get a new Paul Thomas Anderson movie every so often, and, usually everything around it is, this is the best movie of the decade. And a lot of times that's very true. This guy is just a talented filmmaker, and he's gathered a bunch of 10 out of 10 actors, giving 10 out of 10 performances for 10 out of 10 characters. So you can't beat that.
Well, I think that says it all. Let's call it a night.
Yeah, that was the shortest episode ever.
Yeah. Where do you even start with this one?
Yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson, dude. It's really fun to see him make a fun movie like this. Everybody knows the kind of depth he can put into his movies. I mean, There Will Be Blood is amazing, and I think showcases his ability in screenwriting and depth and to really cater to critics. And
He's definitely a filmmaker's filmmaker.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But this one, he really showed that he can make a great movie for audiences and critics. It is just amazing. It is such a good time.
Okay, so you guys love it. Tell me why. What's your favorite aspect of the film?
Oh, dude. What a loaded question that is. Man, I honestly, I really don't even know where to start. But I'd say the one thing that I think is...
I couldn't even pick.
Yeah, I think the thing that's most impressive about this, maybe compared to some of his others, is how many different genres he was able to kind of blend into this movie without compromising the pace, without compromising the flow of it. And it's a long movie, and it doesn't necessarily feel its length.
That's true. When it ended, Chase, I watched it with Chase, and when it ended, he turned to me and was like, dude, that didn't feel like 2 hours. And I was like
3.
It went by so quick.
I know. I was like, dude, that wasn't 2 hours,
Yeah.
was it?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
I think what struck me is it starts and you're in it. It doesn't give you a setup. It's like, you know what? I had just seen Jaws in IMAX a couple weeks earlier.
Word.
And that to me, from a pacing perspective, is a perfect movie. And this this almost matches it. It's just like, hey, here's the movie, and we are running. We are not going to slow down.
Yeah.
We're not going to, try to explain too much to you. You are in the car with us and we're going. And that was my favorite aspect of it.
Yeah. So often in writing, it's like conversations or arcs or acts or even an entire movie will be structured around leading up to something.
Yeah.
And it seems every word of dialogue it takes front and center, main stage. You don't know where the conversations are going because there's so much emphasis on where we're at right now.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's such an amazing thing to see. It feels fully fleshed out, but the way he approaches it with his actors, he basically gives them the structure and he's like, all right, now you do your thing. And it's a completely collaborative thing.
Yeah.
Collaborative, yes. He does allow a lot of improv on set.
Like the phone thing, I think Leonardo DiCaprio came up with that himself.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
I love when directors give that kind of freedom to actors. I mean, it seems dangerous because it can blow up, but if done right, I think it can add so much to a film.
Well, the cast like this, you can do that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it seems like you see pictures or videos on set or interviews, and it just seems like they're all friends. They're all just hanging out, just love what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's not like one of those old Stanley Kubrick movies where everybody hates their lives.
hates the director, hates each other, hates themselves. Yeah.
You guys are familiar with Les Mis?
Les Mis? Like Les Miserables?
Oh, yeah.
In English, Les Miserables.
Yeah.
In French, Les Misérables.
Yeah.
And the way I like to refer to it, Les Miserables.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Paul Thomas Anderson said that he wanted to make this movie in the same emotional structure as Les Mis. In other words, a big, energetic first act, followed by dealing with the consequences of that act for the rest of the movie. That's exactly how this film plays out.
Yeah.
There's a big first act, and then the rest of the movie, you're dealing with that act, and it just hooks you and flies by.
It does.
So let me ask you this. Is this movie as good without Leonardo DiCaprio?
No. I mean, I'm jumping in right now. No. Look, Leonardo DiCaprio has to play that role that he's become so good at. I mean, you look at his role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and even like Killers of the Flower Moon, like that kind of unsure, kind of almost bumbling loser role, but he's perfected it here.
Yeah.
And I mean, who else is going to jump in and do that? You have to have a guy for the last 30 years who's been able to step into any role and disappear into it without being over the top, without being too hammy. Like he's a pro's pro, and I can't think of anybody else who would be convincing here.
Yeah. You want to hear something funny?
I do.
I watched a weird movie the other day. I don't even know what caused me to watch this movie, but it was What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh, that's a great movie. Love that movie.
Okay. Have you guys all seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody know how old Leo was in that film?
What?
He was young.
12?
17? 16, 17?
I don't know, he's younger than that.
Think he's younger than that? I'll check it out.
And yeah, I think Blake's got a point. He has gotten very talented at playing this kind of bumbling, lovable fool, albeit with this kind of frenetic pace layered on top of that. But when you go back and look at his filmography, he kind of fell into this role later in his career, whether it was with Tarantino or with Paul Anderson. It's actually extremely impressive what he does in that movie.
Yeah.
And it's just, when Blake's used the term that he commits himself fully and then beyond somehow. I mean, there's not a scene where you watch him acting. Obviously, we're talking about this movie, and I'm talking about this movie in particular. It's in the silent moments, too, where he's not speaking or he's not somebody else's, the primary actor in that scene. And the choices he makes, man, it's just he's an extremely organic and just, it looks almost effortless how convincing he is.
He's extremely talented. Can I blow your minds for a minute?
Below it.
Yeah.
DiCaprio was 19 years old when he shot What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He does not look 19.
Way.
Wow.
No, he doesn't, man. He doesn't.
He was 19.
The thing that blew me away about it is it's like it takes a certain level of maturity and awareness to play somebody who's with an intellectual impairment to the level in which it doesn't become a farce. There's lots of examples of actors going, fully committing to playing a character like that. Whereas there's this innocence and believability when he does it.
Which is crazy because he does so much. Like a conversation, like it's very clear that, he's somebody with some disabilities, but it's not, like you were saying, it's not at all like a caricature or stereotyping. No. It doesn't feel like that at all.
He never goes over the top.
It's insane how amazing his performance is.
I want to grab onto something that Kolter was talking about is it's not so much when he's talking, it's his reactions. There's two scenes that pop into my mind right away about that. The one where Perfidia is leaving him, and the way he's not saying anything, but he's making noises and he's like stumbling through his responses. It was so real. And then the second one, his facial reactions at the grocery store when Lockjaw is asking him if he likes black women and asking him about the kid.
Yeah.
He has like his face, like I could have watched his face for another 10 minutes. He just was he was blown away and scared and confused, and and it really like sunk in. And there's nobody's doing that level of work, comical work and emotional work without feeling like it's forced.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, well said.
So I absolutely agree with everything that everybody has said, and I want to ask the same question a little differently. Is this movie as good without Sean Penn?
No. At this point, I think it's fair to say this movie, with the exception of maybe a few of the side characters, any of the main players, Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, you take them out, and some actors were just meant to play certain roles.
I think Sean Penn was absolutely magnificent at being that rigid, intimidating, scary military guy, and yet also being comedic. And I think that is such a hard line, and man, he walked it well.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, at the same time, being like this veritable, like bubbling cauldron of like inner conflict. I mean, just the way he walked, and anytime he said a sentence, it was always followed by like a series of like weird mouth smacks and facial tics. It was just weird. It
was hilarious, but it was like when you laugh during a horror movie because you're so freaking like this is horrifying. Like, but it's funny, it's so horrifying.
Yeah.
There's one other actor that I want to shout out here, and that's Chase Infinity.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my.
Okay. Yeah.
Amazing.
This was her first feature film.
Insane.
I thought I saw her in something else. I thought maybe this was her second. Either way, first or second, she was awesome.
Yeah, no, I can confirm this was her first feature film, and she was great.
Damn.
Paul Thomas Anderson's just got an eye for perfect people for his roles. Like, I wouldn't ever picture Sean Penn for that role. Just like if I was told to cast this film.
Yeah.
Or like Alana Haim in Licorice Pizza. Just such a random pick, but it's so perfect.
Yeah.
What did you see in Chase Infinity, Jordan? Like, what held you on that role? Because I'm interested in hearing what other folks are saying on it.
Yeah, again, I mean, this is her first feature film. She's acting for Paul Thomas Anderson. I mean, the pressure's got to be unbelievable. And yet she's so reserved and so believable in a role that isn't easy to play. I mean, on one hand, she's dealing with the pain and the trauma of her mother abandoning her. She's trying to discover her own identity in a world that doesn't feel like her own, while also being almost smothered by this helicopter parent, her father, who's just trying to protect her from the world as it is today and also the world that he comes from, his past, his actions. And then her alarm goes off and life throws her a curveball. Even though she's been completely prepared for this moment, all of a sudden it's real and she finds herself face to face with real danger.
Right.
And to handle all of those emotions all at once. The fear of her life, the discovery that her mother was a traitor and not a hero, the discovery that her mother... I mean, there was so many different emotions that she had to work through in this film.
Yeah.
The whole gambit, right? And I just thought she did it beautifully. Very believable. There wasn't a second in this movie where I didn't believe her. And in a role as complex as this one, I just think that's really hard to do for an experienced actress.
Yeah. I would say the scene that did it most for me with her was when she kind of parents her dad.
Yeah.
That's just such a nuanced scene.
And then she has the added challenge of acting against a powerhouse like DiCaprio. I love that scene where she's in the bathroom at the dance and those little synced up music pods that they have, like when they're in proximity to another revolutionary, starts to go off. And when Regina King kind of bursts into the bathroom and they have that, she starts kind of telling her these code words and she just responds, like almost programmatically. But the way she plays that scene is really good. I mean, it's, she has to trust somebody she doesn't know. And it's like all these crazy things her dad has told her whole life are all of a sudden manifesting in front of her, and how she wasn't anywhere near as over the top or satirical as some of these other characters. Yeah. She had to kind of play her part with a more stifled presentation of her capabilities and her strength. It was, couldn't have been easy.
I love those little music devices too. I think that's one of the coolest parts about the movie.
So just cool.
The way that the music works itself into the story.
Yeah. It also sounded like a Legend of Zelda theme song.
It's like it's Johnny Greenwood through and through that music that's coming from those devices. Yeah. And I can't get enough of it.
So Blake, what were your thoughts on Chase Infinity?
Well, I mean, I just echo everything. My favorite scene in the film is Chase Infinity and Sean Penn in the church when he is doing the test to see if she's his daughter. And just like the other scenes we're talking about, she plays it so inside of herself. That scene could have fallen apart at any moment. And Sean Penn, of course, plays it perfectly because he's Sean Penn. But this girl you can see the anger and the fear in her eyes, but she's not over the top. She barely even raises her voice at all. And it's like, it's so incredible to see somebody so young, just like the Leo scene and the Regina King scene, to just be able to match with a pro like Sean Penn in such an emotional scene. It was very impressive.
So I want to take this conversation in a different direction. And I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm going to do it anyway.
It was always going to go there.
Let's start here. It's difficult not to draw comparisons between this film and Eddington.
Yeah.
Real quick, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I think it warrants a conversation. How do we feel this film compared to Eddington?
Eddington was a lot more cynical, that's for sure. And it wasn't message forward. It was, what's Ari Aster trying to say here?
Yeah, I thought Eddington was obviously a more contained story. It really was very much in the structure of an old Western, and you had the sheriff going against big bad, everything else coming, even if he was losing his mind a little bit. Whereas One Battle After Another is a big, epic road movie and adventure and action film. And I felt like one was very contained, but they're very similar vibes and had very similar things to say about America. And in fact, I think of an unofficial trilogy as Eddington, One Battle After Another, and Civil War as like an unofficial trilogy.
Damn.
Of like,
That's a heavy night.
Here's the before and after of where we could go if we're not paying attention. And I think of what these three movies are saying about our current climate and where it could go, I think they're saying a lot of the same things.
I hadn't thought Civil War. That's an interesting pairing. Man, I'm going to jump on board with that trilogy. That's an interesting thought.
Scary.
That's a heavy night for sure.
Yeah.
It's a heavy night of film.
Yeah.
You know, back to the comparison between this and Eddington. Eddington, it doesn't feel like it has a message. I mean, there's a story there for sure, but it's almost like we're watching ourselves on screen. We're watching what we've become due to our choices, our political decisions, the constant hate-filled news cycle that we've tolerated for too long. We're sitting there watching what we've become, the atrocities and the hatred and the extremism, and there isn't anything more than that. It's just, look, this is where we are, and we have to sit and grapple with that. At least that's what I got out of it anyway.
I think there's very much a message, and I don't want to cut you off, but I think the message is spelled out, just spelled incorrectly. It's you're being manipulated. Eddington's whole thing is like, here's all the distraction. Guess what? We opened this data center while you guys were all fighting. We took over the town while you guys were screaming at each other. And
that's an interesting take.
And it's the first shot in the movie is the empty data center area, and the last shot of the movie is the data center. And all this stuff takes place while a big corp takes over and throws fire bombs in the town as it takes over to make sure that everybody stays distracted. I think the message is clear from Eddington. You're being manipulated. It's spelled wrong on Joe's car, but it doesn't make it any less true.
Okay, agreed. But I think my point is Eddington is really like, this is where we're at. This is what has happened. This is our reality now. Like, just, you got to grapple with that. This is life now. And I feel like One Battle After Another is also very political. They're both kind of a satire on polarization, right? One Battle After Another really focuses on the extremists of authoritarian systems and radical revolutionary groups. But at its heart, there is a message of love and family and how those relationships are truly more important than political ideologies. I think the message of this film is ideologies rise and fall. There are cycles of conflict that repeat over generations, and battles never end. And what really matters is love over politics and family over, quote, the cause, unquote.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of this film. However, what I want to talk about is, for me personally, in this movie, One Battle After Another, I found myself quite uncomfortable in many scenes. And I'm sure that was the desired effect of PTA. But you know, he's showing these extremists, and he's doing it in a way that, again, is satirical. But in today's wacky world where politics is the new religion, and there is extremism, and there is dangerous ideologies that are filled of hate and intolerance, it was too real. And so it was difficult for me to sit back and laugh at some of this stuff. It was difficult for me to enjoy myself because what I was seeing on screen is also what is happening around me. And I'm frightened by that. It scares me. And so I found the film to be very uncomfortable in some ways. And I was nervous about how some extremists might interpret the message of this movie incorrectly. Yeah. That was my experience. Did you guys feel that at all? Am I just taking the movie too seriously?
Was that the Christmas Adventure Club parts?
I mean, there was lots of parts.
Depending on your perspective, it can rub you the wrong way for different reasons. What I was going to ask you guys earlier was that what's going on currently in our country, other countries across the world, you could argue, is actually going to be a burden on a movie like this, because it's so weird. The people who don't like this movie don't like it because they can't get past the context of it.
Yeah.
They can't. And yeah, it's meant to be bothersome. So I saw this movie with my brother, as I see most of these movies with him. We both walked out of the theater thinking, man, that was so much better than we both thought it was going to be. You cannot argue with how, and Jordan, I know you're going to say the same thing. You can't argue the technical merits of this movie. You cannot say, oh, it's a poor movie, it's a bad movie. It's shot beautifully. It's the music and soundtrack is amazing. The characters are awesome. The writing is top notch. The pace, the flow, all of it works so well. But my brother also said something interesting too. He's like, idiots are going to take the wrong thing out of this movie, and they're going to not like it for the wrong reasons. The intelligent viewer is going to understand that nobody's being glorified here. The revolutionaries aren't being glorified. Things are bordering parodic. They're satirical. Without sitting down with Paul himself and saying, hey, Paul, what were you going for in this? What's the message behind this movie? It's really tough, man. It's meant to challenge, but it's also meant to entertain. And I think they're intentionally bringing levity to a lot of the absurdity. All these characters are over the top. I mean, Lockjaw, the name itself is over the top. He's over the top. This Christmas, bunch. It's all insane. It's all meant to be absurd.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that Paul Thomas Anderson is showing the absurdity on both sides. Like,
sure.
The extremists on both sides, it leads to destruction and pain and ridiculousness, and it fails, and it should fail, and it's going to fail. At least I hope it's going to fail.
Right.
I sat there grappling with this, and maybe I took it a little bit more seriously than I should have, but I just felt like it was hard not to in today's world. And I get the point. I get it was satirical, but I just felt it was really uncomfortable for me, and it made some parts of the movie difficult to enjoy.
Sure.
Well, a lot of people want to sit and pretend we're watching a movie about things that, oh, this might happen. It's like, no, this shit is actually, like, a lot of this is actually happening today. And that's probably where a lot of the discomfort comes from, is like, how much are we watching here that, like, isn't too far off of what is happening right now in our country and other countries. So I think there is a huge discomfort in that. But I think it's also really important to take it on in a satirical light, to say, like, so more people will watch this. If this was a straight film, like a straight, like, wake you up film, like something like Zone of Interest, it wouldn't be nearly getting the run that it's getting right now, because this is a funny, entertaining movie first and foremost. But when you sit with it for a moment, like you're saying, Jordan, it's like, oh, it's kind of not that fun when you think about it for more than a few minutes.
And I think that was the biggest surprise to me in the film, is there were parts of it where I was like, this scene isn't fun, right? Like, I want to be having a good time, because there's so many other aspects of the film where I am having a good time, but this one aspect, I'm not. It's uncomfortable, and I was left to grapple with that, and that surprised me. That really surprised me about this film, and I didn't feel that way in Eddington. Eddington felt heavy, for sure. I came out of Eddington being like, oh, man. But this film just hit different, and I don't know how, but it kind of hurt more than Eddington did. Despite the fact that I found its central message to be uplifting.
Hey, Chase, I really want to get a younger perspective on this. We just dumped a lot out. I'm curious as to your take.
I think what I appreciated most about it and the way that I saw it was, leaving the theater, I wasn't thinking about the extremist groups that propelled the story.
Yeah.
Boiled down, I don't think about any of that. I think it's a fun time about a father and a daughter and that connection there. Like, that's what I loved so much. And it's just like,
that is the heart of the film. That is absolutely the heart of the film. And I felt that very strong.
But I really enjoyed it, because at the start, it's pitched like it's going to be politically charged the entire time. Like, you get in and it's like, oh, okay, we are in for something heavy. We're going to be taught something here. We're Gonna, but it's just like, let's forget about that for just a second. Let's laugh at it. Let's laugh at these things that are crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
And let's just have a good time at the theater. That's what I loved so much.
That's cool, man. I not that I'm saying it's not important to think or talk about these things, but I'm actually glad to hear you say some people aren't able to separate art from reality. And yes, reality has been infused with artwork, various forms of it for many, many decades. But there's a lot of arguments out there because, there's TV shows dealing with this stuff right now, other movies. I knew the titles earlier today and they slipped my mind since, that are being pulled. Either they're being delayed because of what's going on currently politically and with events going on and domestically and elsewhere. And I was a little bit shocked that something like this was not delayed. And it depends on your opinion whether it's for better or for worse, but it is interesting that that has been the reaction of so many studios and production companies to go, oh shit, we can't believe release this right now. The temperature's too high. We got to wait until, give it 6 months or whatever. It's just an interesting thing that they were like, nah, f- it, it's going out.
Especially when it's Warner Brothers.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And with Eddington, a lot of people were saying this is too soon. This is just way too soon. And
Sure.
I'm glad. I agree with you, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't hold this one back.
It goes back to, are movies like this going to spark up a cause and this and that? I mean, and if it does, is that what the filmmakers want? Was that what the actors in this want? Or is this just can you take it as what it is, which is a commentary with some satire and some things like that? And aside from it being, I think, an excellent film, it's just interesting. It's interesting to see when you read the reviews how many people are shitting on it because of the context that they're choosing to take out of it. And again, unless we know directly from the director's mouth or the actors, involved therein, we don't know. So I don't know. It's just an interesting time, man.
Kolter, you say a lot of people are shitting on it, and I believe that, but I do want to point out that on Letterboxd, this has a 4.5 rating, which is extremely high.
Yeah, you go to most of the sites.
Extremely high.
Yeah.
People are
for
loving
sure.
this film.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to add before we...
I mean, I could talk about Benicio's character
gosh.
for
Sensei.
2 hours. I mean, it was. I think I do want to say I think the heart of the film, while all these people are running around, and being crazy, is Benicio's character, just being like the actual kind of superhero and
taking zero credit
right?
for it.
Like being the guy who's calm. Yeah, getting no credit. He's the guy who's calm. That I thought it was really important where Bob said, "Yeah, sorry, I brought all this shit to your door," and he goes, "I've been dealing with this. We've been dealing with this for 100 years. Don't get what did he say? Like, don't get he said, don't get greedy. I think that was the message that Paul Thomas Anderson was rapping on all this. Is like it's the people who are working for their family and their community that are really making the difference, and all this other stuff is noise. And like Jordan said, it's just going to be a continual back and forth battle and fight, and nothing's ever going to go forward. But these people that are working for their family, their community, and doing it quietly with their heads down are the ones really making the
and
difference.
you see the underdogs helping each other out, even though they don't know anything about each other. The most powerful scene for me, my favorite by far, was when he gets into the hospital and the lady's asking him about his diabetes. That was just
so
like,
good.
I didn't even cry when they
so good.
reunited it at the end, but that part was like a gut punch.
When he gets uncuffed,
Yeah.
And then he gets
it's so
outside
good.
and gets in Benicio's car and he takes a selfie with him and the music kicks on. That was just so great.
We get the needle drop. We get the PTA needle drop with Jackson 5 there. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant
the
scene.
music. Oh, the music. Yeah, and the beers. He's always got a beer to hand Bob. Just love that. He's like, here's
Benicio's character is incredible.
What would you guys say is your favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film?
Boogie Nights.
Oh, Dick Diggler and Boogie Nights.
There Will Be Blood's still my favorite. I can't get over the towering performance from Daniel Day-Lewis. I can't get over just how patient that movie is, and how quiet and then how loud it is, and how how effective it is with the lighting and scene work and the music, and everything just comes together so well. And that one and Magnolia are my 1 and 2, but this is just like right after Magnolia for me.
I don't even know. It's so hard to say. I think Licorice Pizza is my favorite. Maybe still is. I just love that movie. I think it's also my age, and it shows all these different kinds of maturity without labeling them as this is right, this is wrong. It's just a bunch of young characters figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
I agree. All these films are peak filmmaking. I mean, these are excellent movies. My favorite, though, is Punk Drunk Love, man. I love that movie.
Oh,
I don't know what it is. It's uncomfortable. It's awkward. But it is a fabulous love story, and I love that movie.
Yeah.
You know what's wild, Jordan, is I think in a weird-ass way, One Battle After Another is the movie that's most like Punch Drunk Love that Paul Thomas Anderson's made. Because of just because of the forward motion of it all. It's just ready, set, go. And we are going forward, and we're just going to throw all this stuff at you, and you're just going to have to move with it. Like, move with it or don't, but that's not my problem. I'm making my movie.
Yeah. It also has that thing where in Punch Drunk Love in this movie, the music will play throughout like an entire scene and then bleed into the next scene, and it's just this like fast and anxious.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love it. There's no arguing. Paul Thomas Anderson is an amazing filmmaker, but I want to know exactly what you guys think of One Battle After Another. Let's go ahead and rate it on a scale of 1 to 5.
I'll go first. Yeah. It's a 5 for me. It's an easy 5 for me. You have everything working so well for a director who doesn't actually miss, which is just actually insane. And then you have, just like I said at the beginning, all these characters, all these actors. You lay it down with the cinematography here and that Johnny Greenwood score, which has been on repeat in my AirPods since it came out. And it's an easy 5 for me.
Man, okay, so long story short, the movie is a 5 for me as well, but it was not an easy 5. Movies like this, like I said, my brother and I, when we walked out, we knew exactly, we're like, yep, this was an exceptional movie. But it does take a little bit of like study, I think, at least for me. It's like I really, wanted to explore because it is so topical, which is unlike most of Anderson's other films. It is dealing with some very topical things. But man, when you dive into it, it's the writing, the performances, the story pushes forward in ways that you don't expect. Chase, you mentioned that scene when he's at the processing center. Everything that happens in that movie, you don't necessarily see the next thing coming, and it's just so much fun to be surprised. Blake mentioned the music, man. It's like, even when it's not in your face, it's always percolating there in the back, this kind of crazy, jazzy, anxiety-induced. It's so complimentary to everything that's going on. Just this awesome blend of genres, espionage, action, comedy. There's that insane chase scene at the end that's just, thank God people still shoot films with actual film, and just great lens choices. I mean, I can nerd out on that stuff all day. It's an exceptionally made film. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be one of those movies that a lot of people won't even bother seeing because of the subject matter, because of what it's dealing with. But again, I think if you're able to look at it for what it is and detach yourself, much like Chase articulated very well, I think, and just take it as a piece of art, I think most people would be very hard-pressed to not appreciate it for its filmmaking prowess alone. I mean, it's an amazing movie.
I loved it. Sometimes it can be really hard for me to go into a movie and not think the whole time, especially recently. Like, I didn't even realize how long it's been since I just invested myself in a movie, not try to dissect it, figure out. I would love to go into screenwriting someday, and that's something that I do a lot with movies. And this one, it was like, it finished, and it's like, holy crap. I haven't thought for the past 2.5 hours, and it felt amazing. It was just so good, and it was not what I was expecting from a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, and he did it best. It seems like that's what he sought out to do, just make a fun movie, and that's what he did. 5 stars for me, for sure.
So I cannot disagree with anything that any of you have said. This film is absolutely masterful on every level. I agree. And I love the message of the story, that life, society, and politics are never settled. There's always one battle after another. And what's most important is love and family. I love that message. I absolutely love it. But guys, for some reason, there were parts of this film that just were too uncomfortable for me. And because of that, I have to see it again. And I have to see it a third time. And I have to see it a fourth time. And I'm sure the more I see it, the more I will love it. But coming out of this film, I'm going to land at a 4. Still an excellent film. From a filmmaking perspective, it couldn't be better. The difference between a 4 and a 5 for me is my passion for it. The filmmaking is a 5. My passion for this film is a 4, but I fully expect that to change with subsequent viewings. We want to know, what did you think of One Battle After Another? Please tell us.
If you enjoyed One Battle After Another and want more battles and revolutions, check out Gio Pontecorvo's 1966 masterpiece, and apparently Bob Ferguson's go-to flick, The Battle of Algiers. A major influence on PTA's One Battle in tone, pace, and aesthetic, The Battle of Algiers embeds you in the action of the Algerian Wars, and, much like One Battle, dials the tension up from shot one and doesn't let go until the credits roll.
Thank you for listening to Faster Film Critic, and please join us next week when we talk The Smashing Machine. You can also follow us on Letterboxd, Cinetrek, and Instagram. Email us at fasterfilmcritic@gmail.com. Hit us up with questions, comments, feedback, or review requests, and share this episode with your movie-loving friends.